Tell you what, man. I am so tired of the YouTube nonsense.
What do you mean?
Like, I'm glad we're on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
But every time we upload something, it gets copyright flagged. Because, you know, we like other people's music, I guess.
I mean, they did it better.
And
Right.
I'm not going to do it any better than that. And
Well-
so I figured we'll just use their music. But it always copyrights. And so we don't get credit for those views. Like, if we ever get monetized, like, it's going to go to them.
Fair.
And so I don't like it. It's no good.
Dude, we got to get
This is
some...
the way I feel about it. This is the way it sounds.
just add a key and nastiness.
It's awful. It's awful. It's terrible.
That's YouTube. Well, dude, we got to get some new podcast tunes. I don't like it. So far off to a bad start. Better, closer, warmer. And that's it. Kick it.
Oh, snap. I missed the intro. Sorry. Putting the guitar up.
You should have just Thor's hammered the guitar, man.
It's my pop's guitar. I feel bad. I just threw it across
You
the
definitely
room.
don't want to do that one.
Well, hey out there, all you podcast listening savages. Welcome to this little thing that we call Fraternize with These Guys podcast. I'm your host, Pastor Pinewood, and sitting across from me, as always, is... And it's short today, the intro, mainly because...
That's what she said.
I tell you what, of all the times that you've said that's what she said, that's the closest one.
Fair enough.
More likely to be that than all the other ones.
That's fair.
I was going to write some more, but I was so aggravated with the flies in
dude.
the shop, brah.
What the French, man?
It's February in Texas.
February's?
And I feel like we got in here, and it was a little chilly, and we turned on the heaters, and the flies, like, came back to life.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
They reanimated themselves.
It is ridiculous how quick they came back to life.
It's like Jeff Goldenstein in the...
You too, Jeff Goldstein.
Did you ever see that movie, The Fly?
Yeah, it's not a good movie.
It's not a great movie. It's not a terrible movie.
It's not terrible,
but
but
it's definitely like, whoa, he became famous because of that?
that role right there got him famous. I thought it was life finds way.
So they're making a new one.
I know.
And he's gonna be in it, which is
Everybody's
really cool.
going to be, well, I say everybody.
Not everybody, God rest their soul. But so the main folks are going to be in it, which is pretty exciting.
Dr. Allen.
Yep, the lady's coming back. Laura Lenny? That's not her.
Not Lenny.
Anyway,
Anywho.
whoever that is coming back. I think Chris Pratt's going to be in there, which is pretty awesome.
So we're going to do a little intermingle in between the old folk that grew up with the OG Jurassic Park and then the new stuff.
Yep.
Man, I'm just looking forward to it, man.
I tell you what, something that is OG for us, that continues to rear its ugly head, case in point, is Tenacious D.
Yeah.
Continues to... So I asked the question, how much of our friendship do you think was shaped from that one album?
Yeah.
Because,
It was literally...
I mean, from the beginning,
From the beginning, in the beginning, there was the D. And the D was one with the FWTG.
It really was. So that album, I don't know what, 01 is when it came out. And you and I were hanging out in probably 03, playing video
04.
games. And we just have that on loop in the background.
Yeah.
And
we're cracking out for
freaking
10-hour-long sessions on Morrowind.
So the running evening was double cheeseburgers, Dr. Pepper, a little bit of Tenacious D, and
a lot of bit of Tenacious D,
and Morrowind, and
a lot of the D.
It was a lot, a lot very early on, but it was fun, man.
It was good times.
We feel like the Tenacious D's got to make its ugly head known.
I'm hoping
on a more regular basis.
I'm hoping so.
So this is episode 61.
It is.
What if we committed to doing Tenacious D intros all the way through the 60s? So we got 61 through 69, and we get all of those.
All the D.
Yep. What do you think about that?
6D with the D.
We'll have to come up with a better name. I mean, it's not bad.
I mean, I'm just spitballing, bro. I'm just spitballing.
Well, we are recording from the barn at the farm.
Yeah.
And speaking of a YouTube song that nobody apparently cares about, because this is like the one that we've used that has never gotten flagged. It's hilarious. So it's called Hen House in the Mood. And basically, the whole album is these old classic songs done in a classical cluck, is what it says.
Oh, that's just your good old classical clucking right there.
and like I said, apparently nobody cares about this album enough
Mother
to...
clucker, that's a good album.
So I like it. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, but we are at the barn, at the farm.
The barn at the farm.
Maybe that's why we got flies, because we got the ducks outside, we got rabbits in the garage, and you know it's.
I tell you what, I mean, you really can't have a farm without the flies. Like, it's kind of the necessary evil.
It's a good point
because there's fecal.
Yeah,
all over the place.
It's just gonna happen. Just
it
one
is.
Of those deals. And flies they're important in the in breaking down of things. They are important in that role.
No, maggots are.
Well, yeah, but that's a fly. It's just a little fly, a little baby fly.
No, it is the larval state.
Correct.
Of a fly.
So a little baby fly.
But it's not a fly.
It's a little baby fly.
No, it's a larval fly.
there's a little baby fly in there.
It's a little stupid baby fly.
He's got to sprout his wings.
He hadn't got his wings yet. Oh, poor baby.
I tell you what, man. The hardest thing about smoking a cigar on this particular podcast is we giggle so much I can't even keep it lit.
Yeah,
can't keep going. So
that is a problem.
A couple things real fast. If you do see flies flying around and landing on glasses, just ignore it the best you can. I know it's super annoying, but it is what it is.
And to bring up another point, you're watching this.
Yeah,
so
which
we're
is
on
pretty
video.
sweet. And go over to YouTube if you want to check out our mean mugs. And I don't know why you would, but you can. And if it hasn't, no, it will by this time. It should upload. So here's the deal. When we were doing the still shot with all the audio, when I uploaded to YouTube, it took about an hour and 15 minutes. When we do a full video at 1080p, it takes about 4 hours to 5. So it takes a bit to get uploaded.
Nothing is flagged.
It's flagged. And so anyway, we're kind of lagging behind on that, but it seems like we get about one a day throughout the week. So we're caught up, I think, all the way to 53.
I believe so.
And so by the time this thing drops, man, we should be caught up.
Rocking and rolling.
Yep. Speaking of that, we are on Patreon, and the Hidden Revival dropped yesterday. That was Hidden Revival number 9. That's kind of the secret extra podcast.
Yep.
So the inside jokes, all that stuff, the battle against the space lizards, that's where that happens. And
yes,
so
it does.
Go over to Patreon. You can join. We got 2 tiers, really. There's a $5 tier and a $20 tier. You got the Hidden Brethren and also the Life Shippers. And I'm going to tell you something right now. If you're a life shipper or you're going to become a life shipper, we have some merch that is banging right now.
Yes, it is.
It's awesome. So I grabbed one. So if you are watching on video, you can kind of see this. Now, a couple of, I don't know what, 10 episodes ago, something like
roundabouts.
that. We had a joke about the pig dragon. I'll let you hold one side of that so they can see. And so you got a really nice quality t-shirt, long sleeve, which is great. And on the back, you got this huge pig dragon, the Pig Dragon Hunting Club.
Yes.
And it's a sweet shirt. And we were talking about on the Hidden Revival.
Yes, we were.
It will make a really good shirt to fish with. It's light and it's long sleeve. Feels good. Looks good. So
good.
And I'll tell you, if you're a life shipper, you get 50% off.
Yeah,
So
50% off new merch.
basically costs, and that's just a big shout out and a thank you guys to all of your Patreon subscribers. And if you're a Hidden Brethren, you get what, 25 or 15, something like that?
15, 25, somewhere in there. I think it's 15.
Good stuff. So this is a shirt that doesn't have all of our information on it. It's just a shirt you can wear out in public, and people be like, "What the heck is the Pig Dragon Hunting Club?" And then you can tell them all about the podcast.
That's right.
It's awesome. Also, this place, the Barn at the Farm, is where we're going to have Forge and Eyes with these guys.
Yes.
So whatever that is going to look like, has its beginnings right here, literally right out that door behind Beezy at the moment is where we're going to have it. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I almost said pay attention. Pay attention. Don't pay attention.
Pay for the subscription.
Pay for the subscription.
And attention.
Why do they sound so forceful today? Like, what's going on? No, we made the joke on the Hidden Revival that we found the leather working that we mentioned a couple episodes ago. It's like $2,000.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, we're short about $1,800 because we can both give 100. That's about it. That's what we got. So anyway, all right. So what I was saying is just be ready for that stuff to come. It'll come this spring and into the summer. Last but not least, before we go on with the show, I want to give a big shout out and a thank you to Eccentric Brewing for sponsoring the show. And we'll be down there for Patty's Day, hopefully live recording. And man, really looking forward to that deal. And hopefully we'll give you guys a little bit of incentives to go and join us that weekend. So I believe that is going to be, we'll be down there the weekend before, it's the 11th, Friday the 11th.
Yes.
And we'll be down there hanging out. So come have a beer with us. It'll be a good time to meet all of you. We would really enjoy it. Well, any other updates that we need to deal with right here at the outset?
We have a new Hidden Brethren member.
Oh, that's right. We do. We have. We already mentioned Matt.
We mentioned Matt
from last
week. But we got a new one.
Yep.
Oh, Senor Heston himself.
Yep.
So he has joined the ranks of the Hidden Brethren. So we wanted to give him a shout out and say thank you.
Thank you to Heston, and also Heston has got some. He's got some cool opportunities for us and all of you guys that are listening coming up. So we'll be revealing that in the coming weeks.
Yes.
So we're excited about that. So thank you guys. And then last but not least, I think I've only said it twice. I'm going to say it one more time.
Might as well.
When we get to 20 Patreon subscribers, we will begin our philanthropic endeavors.
Yeah, there you go.
And so I botched it on the Hidden Revival.
Pretty severely.
Not great. But anyway, so that's what we're going to do. So we'll begin giving 10% of our monthly donations to a charity that we choose or that you guys help us choose.
Yeah, suggestions are definitely welcome.
Yep, it'll be different every month. Yep. And so the poor charities at the beginning, they're going to get like $20. But you know what? It's
$20 goes a long way. You know what $20 will get you? A month of a Life Shipper subscription.
That is true. That is true. So when you help fraternize with these guys, you're helping more people than just that. And so we want you to know that your money is, well, it's precious to us, and we appreciate your support. And also, we want to help support other folks.
That's exactly right.
I'm going to be giving back a little bit.
Yeah, boy.
Speaking of giving back, you want to do a little on the wagon articles?
I say we might as well just do it.
Hole-in-one sparks beer can shower at the loudest hole in golf.
That's an oxymoron. The loudest hole in golf.
Loudest hole in golf.
Did somebody accidentally go?
they actually clapped
instead of doing a golf clap.
No.
It's got to be the loudest hole. Oh my God.
So the author writes, golf has a reputation of being a very buttoned up sport. Be quiet when a golfer takes a shot. Clap politely when the ball goes in the cup. Yes?
Fair enough.
But on Saturday at the Phoenix Open, it provided an entirely different image, courtesy of the quote-unquote loudest hole in golf. So Sam Ryder made a hole-in-one at the 16th hole at TPC Scottsdale, which is an infamous, rambunctious scene. It currently features seating for roughly 17,000 spectators around this one.
What?
Yeah, around the one green. 17,000 seats.
That's stupid. 17,000 people watch one freaking hole.
One hole. And what they do is they sit up here and they drink all day. And they watch this one hole.
I will never bitch about getting end zone seats at a football game again.
Yeah, man.
Because you can still watch the whole damn game.
Yeah, not this time. You just get to watch one hole
played
freaking over and over and over again. Which
oh my God, that's terrible. I wonder what tickets cost for that.
Ooh, I have no idea.
It's free.
No, it's free.
It's just free for any of you idiots who want to come sit here in the Phoenix sun.
So I do know that the Colonial in Fort Worth, I went to that tournament one time, and it cost me $80 to get in that.
To watch it?
Yeah, just to go
watch golf.
Yeah, just to go watch it in person.
Holy crap.
And beers, $13.
Yeah.
All right, so there's this tradition they have on this 16th hole.
Okay.
If somebody makes a hole-in-one, you throw whatever beverage you have onto the green and onto the people who are playing.
Okay.
And so Sam Ryder, in the third round, made a hole-in-one on this particular green.
Okay.
And it was later in the day, so everyone had beer.
They've been drinking.
And they throw all of the beer cans
no.
onto the green. As a matter of fact, it was so bad that they had to cancel play for like 30 minutes to go out and clean it up.
Yes.
I want you to listen to this. This came with the article. So this
Okay.
is the moment that he makes the hole in one.
This just moments ago.
Okay, here it is.
Sam Ryder taking it right at it.
Okay, going to the hole, going towards the hole. Okay, so everybody, crowd goes crazy, right?
Holy crap. That sounds like a soccer game.
Dude, it's wrapped all the way around this par three are people. And now there is beer coming from all levels of the audience onto the green.
I'm on the green.
It's so fantastic. This one shot shows the crowd right as the ball goes in and literally just erupts with liquid coming out of the stands and beer cans being thrown out onto the green.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It's so fantastic. It's such a great moment in golf. People are freaking out.
Hang on. I'm gonna stop you real fast. It's one of the only great moments in golf.
You watch your mouth, sir. You watch your
I
mouth.
will play golf all day,
Oh, yeah?
but I cannot watch
Not
it.
going to watch it.
I would
huh?
rather get a colonoscopy.
Well, I tell you, if we do go, we're going to this one.
oh yeah, for sure. We're doing this one.
Now, that's a great story in itself, right?
Yeah.
But guess who sponsors the Phoenix Open?
Bush.
Even better. Waste Management Company. The WM Phoenix Open is what it's called. And so when they throw all the beer cans out, the people from Waste Management have to come out and clean it.
Oh, you couldn't write a better story.
So classic, man. Just
Oh
absolutely
my God,
great.
that's awesome.
It's pretty good, man.
That is awesome, dude.
Well, I'll tell you what, speaking of beer, how about let's get us a beer?
Libations!
Oh, I got my stogie lit in time.
Barely.
Barely.
Yeah.
It was nice. What happened?
I'm trying to punch this stupid ass fly.
Oh, I thought you had a stroke or something.
I tried to stroke that fly. Oh, man.
All right, so on the wagon articles we do before our libations segment, and now we're going to get a little libations in us.
That's correct.
So every episode we take a beer and we try to vary as much as we can, but we do like our Texas breweries.
We do like them Texas brews.
And we give it a rate. Good grief.
A rank patings.
We give it a rating, and you can find that rating on our website, fwtgpodcast.com. It's got all of the listings in there. You can even send us what you think if you've had this beer, and we might even put your stuff up there on the
Oh, no, we 100% will. You send us a message with your rating of the beer, and then I'll mathematics it.
There you go.
Because I'm a math genius, and we'll add that to the list. So it'd be good stuff.
By math genius, do you mean barely coherent enough to add?
Yeah, I usually get the producer to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I believe that.
I say I'm a math genius. See, geniuses are able to push things off on other people.
Well, that's true. We call those delegators.
I mean, I'm a
love
genius.
it.
Genius math delegator.
What are we drinking today, my friend?
All right, so today what we're drinking, I believe this is a new one, a new brewery to the list.
Okay.
This is coming from Four Corners Brewing Company.
Nice.
Out of, you want to take a guess on where it's from?
I would assume one of the states that share the Four Corners.
You'd be wrong. It's
really?
from Dallas, Texas.
Oh, wow. I was not expecting that.
So,
When you hear Four Corners, I mean, you think New Mexico, Colorado, Phoenix, and what? Nevada, right?
Yeah. So
That's the only Four Corners in America, right?
I thought
You don't find Four Corners in Dallas.
you would think
You don't find any
you don't
corners.
see that. I mean,
well, there are some street corners in Dallas.
I mean, you do see some sketchy stuff up
Yeah.
there.
If
But
they had ice shanties in Dallas, there would definitely be some prostitutes.
faux show. So I had to do a little digging because I was 100% certain that this was either Colorado, New Mexico,
Right.
something in that
Sure.
area,
Makes sense.
known for little tiny craft breweries.
Okay, that would make sense.
On the can, at the very top, it says Dallas, Texas. Like, what the hell? That doesn't make any sense. So, doing some digging, they based it off of this corner intersection, a 4-corner intersection where they grew up. So,
Okay, well that's not near as cool, but
but
I'll
it's from
accept
Texas.
it. Yeah, I'll give it to you.
So what we're drinking today is called Local Buzz. It is a honey rye golden ale. It's 5% ABV with a 20 IBU.
Interesting.
So the description they have on the website, and if you want to go check their website out, it's fcbrewing.com.
Okay.
So check them out. And then the description they have says, inside is a crisp and delicious golden ale. A touch of honey gives the brew a sweet floral aroma. A hint of rye malt delivers a clean and zesty finish. Refreshing taste is what the buzz is all about. Salute.
Okay. I love it.
Short, sweet, to the point. Tells you what you got. Tells you what to expect.
Okay.
Let's see if it delivers.
All right. Now I do like the B on the can.
Yeah.
With the name. Yeah, that's pretty good. So we ready to dive into this thing?
I say we just do it to it.
All right.
Clink it, drink it, sir.
Cheers, my friend.
But it smells refreshing.
Okay. So how do you feel about rye beers?
Yes.
Okay, because rye typically gives a little bit of a bitterness. I didn't know that you would be a huge fan of.
Yeah, I'm typically not, and I get the bitters in this for sure.
For sure, yeah.
It's very bitter, and for it to, we've had some 40s and 45
Right.
on the IBU
Right.
scale that are, to me, taste less bitter than this.
Right. You'll never hear me say this, hardly ever, but it could use a little bit of sweetness to balance that rye.
Interesting.
And I think that's why it tastes so harsh in the bitterness, because it hits immediately. The rye does.
Need a scotch more honey.
Or something. Yep, something. Now look, I like it. For me, it hits well in the beginning, and then it finishes smooth, and the bitterness does not bother me a bit. This reminds me of kind of like an almost IPA,
Yeah.
and it is an ale. It's a golden ale, and I typically don't like golden ales that much because they're usually lager-ish.
Right.
And it's really not my bag, but I like this. It's pretty good.
It's all right.
Okay.
I'll give it the eye. They are not ice cold.
Correct.
I
correct.
feel like if this was ice cold, it might take some of that bitter punch off.
Maybe.
I would hope.
I don't know, man.
It's drinkable for sure.
Yep. I think it is a refreshing beer. I think ice cold. I think it would hit those points.
Again, on the nose, it smells fantastic.
Yep.
And I don't necessarily get so much of the honey in the front, but it just kind of a faint linger on the back with the honey flavor in. But it's not a bad beer, man.
Okay, so, here's where it misses for me just a little bit. It could be balanced just a touch, and I really would like, and I know that a golden ale, probably this isn't something that you're striving for, but man, I'd really want to see this beer upwards of 6 on the by volume. 5.2 is it's just not there.
Yeah.
And it seems like every beer that we have that's sub 6, it just feels like it needs a touch more.
Needs a push up.
It really does.
Yeah.
And so I feel it misses there. The price point's good. It was $8.99. You know,
No, this was I think it was $10.99.
Oh, really?
So it was a little bit higher on the price point for the ABV.
all right. They have an IPA called the El Chingon, and I like that beer. So I was familiar with this brewery, but that's the only one I've had from them.
Okay.
So this one's new for me. I'm not saying I would buy it again, but if I did buy it again, I think it'd be a great one to have hanging out in your fridge.
Well, yeah, just a lone soldiers.
Yeah,
A little baby squadron.
there you go.
Sitting in the back of the
If
fridge.
you got somebody coming over and they typically drink, domestics or whatever, this might be a good beer to give them something a little bit different.
Get them out of that nasty domesticness.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with this beer at all. It's not overwhelming me, but it's definitely a good, solid kind of run of the mill beer.
Okay. What are you feeling like for a rating on this
I'm gonna do
guy?
a 74.
74, huh? Okay. Well, again, it's a little bitter for me. Mm-hmm. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm not a huge fan of the price point.
Okay. Yeah, it should be an $8.99, $7.99.
Yeah,
beer.
yeah, for sure.
Do they make $7.99 beers anymore?
Probably that's the thing of the past. I think
it is
$10.99 is probably the new standard.
Yeah, $8.99, $9.99. That's a domestic at that point.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not just a huge fan on that. If I could rate it just based on smell alone,
Right.
man,
Be up there?
It's going to be up there.
Okay.
But once you drink it, for me, not so great,
Okay.
but good. So I'm feeling about a 68 on this one.
Okay. All right. Pretty good, solid ratings for both of us. I'll change what I said. I would buy it again, but I'm not going to seek it out.
Right.
It's not something I'm going to go to the store looking for.
Sure,
But I
sure.
definitely pick it up. I don't have a problem with it at all. Pretty good.
Okay. Well, good deal, man.
All right. You ready to do some questions?
Let's do it, man.
Let me ask you something.
You got to love that bass, man.
I'm telling you, man, that little boogity.
So I was
Slap of the
looking.
bass.
I was looking for one of our segments, and I knew it was in the questions or Pastor and the Heathen. I couldn't remember where we talked about it, and so I was listening to the episode on 2x speed, and this particular segment opener, the little bass part, sounds hilarious.
Oh, nice.
It's fantastic. If you get a chance, definitely
Give it a
listen.
look.
Yeah, it's
Or a
really
listen.
funny. All right, we got 2 questions this week, as always, and I'm going to ask mine first,
Okay.
and then old Beezy's going to come in and play cleanup.
Clean up.
Yeah, there we go.
Clean up crew.
There's
Kind of like waste management.
We got baseball, golf references, all kinds of stuff, man. All
Well,
right.
it's that time of the year, man. The Olympics. They kind of do the hodgepodge of everything, right?
That's true. Now, just finished. This
Just
past week.
finished? Yeah.
And what happened to America? Like, did we make it in the top 5 medal count?
Yeah, I think it was in
Are
the
we
top
number
5. I think it was 4 last I checked.
Good grief.
I saw we weren't even in the top 2, so I was like, this is a rebuilding season.
It's not great. Not great. Good try.
I almost got him.
Almost. All right, this question is coming in from Larry, and he does not give any other information. And
Okay.
there's a reason for that. His
Fair enough.
question is, what kind of pigs do I buy if I want them to eat people? Asking for a friend. Okay. All right, Larry. Lots to unpack here.
Larry, you probably should have done anonymous on that one because you're now on a FBI watch list, first and foremost.
That's a good point.
Secondly, there's a really, really good Guy Ritchie film that you should watch. You kind of get just some of the base run through on how pigs will eat.
That's a good point. Yep.
It's called Snatch.
Yep. It's a good one.
And old Bricktop in the
Mm-hmm.
movie, he kind of goes into a little bit of the science behind
He does.
pigs and human bodies.
Yeah, and I didn't know that this was going to be a thing that we would have multiple instances of. But my favorite movie that deals with pigs eating humans is Hannibal or Silence of the Lambs.
Okay. I forget about that one.
Yeah.
That-
It's weird. You got
that
multiple
goofy
movies.
burn victim dude.
Yeah, they eat
Yeah.
him. So he's trying to get, other people eating and they end up eating him.
Yep.
Which is like a sermon, man. Like you could really pontificate on that.
Pastor and the Heathen?
Maybe so.
Possibly soon.
Maybe so. Be careful how you raise your pigs because they might end up eating you. The answer to your question is really any kind of pig.
I think that's correct.
No,
I think if you starve anything enough,
Yeah.
I mean, it's liable to go ham.
Yeah. Nice. It's good. I like that. That was well done, sir. But we need that timpani guy from last week.
I know, right?
I will say that, so I've been around pigs before, and they get a little wily. And if you don't feed them, they will remind you that they need to be fed.
Sure.
And I have seen them draw blood on people through their boots because they just
What?
bite you. Yeah, they just bite you. They just bite you through your, on your ankle.
Feed me.
And so,
Well, you're the first one that's going to be turned to bacon.
yeah, no doubt. You get bit by a pig, that pig is dying quick.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I think any kind of pig would work. And it's just go get you some domestic pigs and put them in your backyard.
I tell you what you got to do. If you got the funds for it, build yourself a rather large enclosure. And you're probably going to want to use 6 to 8 foot concrete walls.
Dang, son, what are you building?
A wild hog pen.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Because them suckers, I know just what they do on farmland,
No doubt.
and they
Brutal.
are devastating. So you don't let them have any watermelons or anything like that,
Right.
or taters for a couple of days, and I'm certain those things will be ravenous. I've seen them when they're caught
Right.
in a cage. They just got done eating half a bag of corn
Right.
and diesel.
That is pretty funny.
They are fit to be tied. and I tell you what, they don't want to be touched at all.
No, they're pretty rambunctious.
They would gladly snatch your arm off.
So we talked about when I went hunting, I don't know what's been a month
A couple
or so,
weeks ago.
yeah. And there was one pig that we shot, and you can see him through the thermoscope, right?
Yeah.
And so he's out there. Well, he sits down on his haunches, so he's hit. And we're like, well, we got to get him down because we don't want to walk up on him. So we're
Right.
like, we'll shoot him again. I bet we shot that thing, and I'm not exaggerating. I bet we put 12 rounds into him, and he did not lay down. It took at least 12 to 15 rounds before he finally fell over.
He was in pig language, pig Latin. He was like, Wolverines!
Yeah, he was
Wolverine's way.
He was a stout dude. So a wild hog is just a domestic hog that's been feraled.
Right.
And they say that literally within one generation that your pigs will become feral. And
Not only just pigs, sheep do the same thing. Goats will do the same thing. Pretty much anything that's been domesticated, they say once it's released out, it has 1 to 3 generations, I think is what it is.
Okay.
Before they're just like,
yeah, whatever.
Lord of the Flies.
What's really crazy about the pigs is like I say, within that one generation, their whole bodies change. They become leaner, their back is stronger, and their hair is coarse quickly. Like as soon as they're undomesticated in the wild.
I mean, one generation of a wild pig or a pig is like 12 days.
That's a good point.
They repopulate quicker than freaking rabbits do, man.
They do. That's a good point. And they're a lot stronger than rabbits, too. I don't know if you've seen them. Not much on the planet kills a pig.
No, well, clearly 13 rounds.
Yeah. So if they're up in the mountains or something, they have some predators. Yeah. And I would assume a mountain lion, maybe a bigger bobcat, maybe. But
That'd be the bobcat's going to have to be a big ass bobcat,
Yep.
and that's going to be a
piglet.
like a sow or not a sow. That's a mama pig, isn't it?
that's a big mama.
That's
pig.
a big mama
Yeah.
pig. So piglets.
Yeah. I don't know, man. So they kind of they do whatever they want. Because if we're not going to shoot them, there's not much else going to kill them.
No, especially out in West Texas.
Yeah.
There ain't much. We have a couple of mountain lions here and there,
Very
and they're
sporadically.
just. I think that's just they get caught on trail cams on their way up to the mountains of Colorado.
Yeah. They've been down in Mexico, for the sun rays.
They
They're
had
heading
to
back
go
up
for a
to
donkey show.
a donkey show.
It was a donkey show, cheap tequila,
Oh no.
couple hookers, in ice shanty.
A Mexican mountain lion, a little sombrero, and we're banned.
Hey, woo.
All right, question number 2.
Question 2, Kevin. He's wanting to know, if you cooked rotten food, say meat, for instance, until the bacteria was completely dead, would you still get sick if you ate it?
Well, that's a good question.
I know.
So I will say for sure it's not going to taste good, even if
Right.
you cook it. You're still going to have that whatever that unpleasantness that bacteria emits. It's still going to be bad. It's still
Right.
going to be tainted meat.
Damn.
But if you cook it and nothing is surviving, and then your stomach acid does its job, maybe not.
I don't know, because I think what happens when meat breaks down, it releases the bacteria that causes it to become fetid.
Okay. No,
that
bacteria
bacteria-
find it, or it grows on the
Well,
meat.
the growing bacteria, what causes it to smell like ass,
Right.
That
The-
is still in the meat,
Right. The
you're just-
putrefaction of the meat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're still eating cooked bacteria poop.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And
Essentially, that's what it is. So you,
Okay.
I think you could still get severely ill.
I'm not going to risk it.
No,
Definitely
hell
not
no.
going to risk it. So this is all hypothetical.
If it smells like a hamster had a baby with a fish,
we don't typically do that, but that's a callback to the Hidden Revival, and we just recorded that, and so it's fresh on the mind,
Yes.
and that is a hilarious bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so if let's take something that let's take fish.
okay,
So if fish goes quote unquote bad,
it smells like fish.
it does smell like fish. That's true. But I think I've seen people still eat it, even when it's quote unquote bad. In
So-
survival situations, they talk about that.
There are, and I know there's some funky tribes out in BFE
Okay.
that they will ferment like meat. Like they'll take a ham hock and they'll stick it outside on a
Right.
pole and let it marble and
Right.
get the crust and stuff like we typically do with aged meats.
So you said it's more dry aging. It's not really fermenting, but fermenting is different than spoiling.
Yeah, there is something, and I vaguely remember it off of like Andrew Zimmerman or something when he was traveling Bizarre Foods,
Right.
and it was something like that where it was basically spoiled meat,
Well,
and it was a
what's
delicacy.
that weird fish in the Scandinavian countries that essentially is just like a spoiled,
Yeah, I know what you're
soured
talking about.
fish or something, like a shark maybe?
I think it was kind of like an anchovy.
Well, regardless, nobody I've ever seen on any show, Ramsey,
They couldn't
Bordeaux, any of those guys, all of them are like, nope, that's terrible.
Not a chance.
It's terrible.
Give me that durian fruit.
No doubt. I don't know, man. That's a good question. I would assume that if you cooked it to like brick form,
I mean, if you've got a charcoal briquette,
right, and you just down the gullet, I don't know. You might get away with it.
I mean, if you're gonna cook something to that point, just cook it to that point and use that briquette to start a new fire and cook a better piece of meat.
Right. Now, I will say, I think we in America, modern day America, if you will, I think we've gotten a little squeamish on meat to the point where we don't eat it even when it's okay.
Yeah, that's definitely a fair assessment.
And it may be that our bacteria is not what it was.
Weakened our own
Yep.
bacteria.
Right. So I don't know. It's a really good question. You know, what's the trichinosis?
Yep.
You know, it dies at like 160 or 165. That's not a bacteria, but it is an issue with the meat, and you cook it past that point, and it's no longer an issue.
Right.
But it's not spoiled. I don't know, man. I think we need somebody to do some research and send that in. So I'm thinking like
We're gonna need Nurse Ashley to get on this one.
one of the smarter folks out there listening, Nurse Ashley or Heston or any of you folks.
Even Pirate Hunter,
Yeah, do some research and send it in to us.
just weigh in. Send us a voice message and let us
we
know
could do
how
the
we screwed up.
research, But I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that. You crazy?
And when was the last time you ate?
You eat?
When was the last time you ate something that was spoiled?
Not too long ago,
really?
actually. I made a sandwich with some cheese that had some mold on it, and I was like, I mean, it's not much. It's just penicillin.
Yeah,
I just ate it.
And cheese is not that big of a deal. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not.
I've eaten some past its prime cheese.
Like milk. No. When it's got its own floaties, no. I have a hard enough time drinking milk in general.
Right.
And if I crack that top and it's 3 to 4 days
Past its prime.
nope, before prime comes up, I'm like, oh, it smells sour. It's bad. We got it bad where they put a bad date on this.
Now, have you ever bought the organic milk?
No.
Okay, so
I don't make enough money to do
dude,
organic
it's
milk.
freaking expensive, by the way. But if the next time you're in the store, you just check it out.
Okay.
The organic milk is good for months, like months.
Really?
Yeah, we've got an organic milk in the fridge that we bought, I think, right before New Year's, and we don't drink much milk. But it's good to like March the 20th.
Well, I know we do almond milk.
Okay, that's not real milk. It's just water.
I mean, no, they milk the teats of the almond, bro. Haven't you seen the YouTube video?
Yeah, it's a little points on the
little,
end.
you gotta milk them little almond teats.
So I made almond milk one time, and it's really easy. You basically just grind up some almonds and let it soak for a couple days, and then stir it. Like that's all it is. There's not much to it, but it's all the crap that they add in afterwards, the sugars and blah, 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 that actually helps preserve it. So it's good for a long time.
It is. I know. We buy one of those, buy a gallon jug of it, and it's like 2.5 months. Holy shit.
Yeah, and it tastes pretty
This
good.
is awesome.
Yeah, it tastes all right.
Because I get tired of buying a gallon of whole milk, and we'll drink like 2 sips out of it, and then the next day it's expired.
I feel like it's worth it because every once in a while, it doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while, I want a bowl of cereal. I don't know why.
I'm with you.
But just every once in a while.
Here,
And I don't want it all the time.
since I had a child,
Okay,
my
fair.
cereal consumption has grown exponentially.
Gotcha.
Because I sit there and be like, you know, it'd be really good. Some little baby sugar-coated bales of hay.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Eat some of them. And some Cocoa Pebbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fruity Pebbles?
No, Fruity Pebbles are garbage.
Dude, you're out your mind.
No.
Those are delicious.
Fruity Pebbles are garbage.
Oh,
Cocoa Pebbles all the way.
you're killing me, bro.
Cocoa Pebbles for life.
I feel like we need to put up a poll this week because
Yeah.
I can't believe that people would prefer chocolate over the Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah. Well, any sensible American.
I thought you were going to say any sensible Flintstone. I really did.
Any sensible Flintstone's gonna go with the cocoa.
You gotta have that. You gotta have that foot fuel to get you down the road. All right, man. Let's get out of questions. Let's do a little cinemize.
Coop.
In honor of our poor Olympic performances, and I say that firmly as a guy who sat on my couch and did nothing that whole time. But still, you got to get your numbers up. I mean,
You got to get them numbers up.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to get beat by Norway.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I know it's the Winter Olympics. I get it. I know they have
it's
a little...
winter year round all the way up there.
I get it. But they're eating fermented fish up there. So
That's fair.
we should be able to beat the Norwegians.
Have we looked into that as being a steroid or
Ooh.
chemical enhancement with their hoingy boingy fish?
We should definitely look into that.
Could be
I
something
say
there.
We open an investigation.
Yep.
For sure.
So what we got on Cinemize, brother?
We're going to do sports movies, but that are comedic and or parodies.
Ooh.
So it kind of takes out some of the good sports movies.
Yeah.
Because there's, look, great movies out there
Yes.
that we grew up with.
Yes.
That like speak to you, right?
Oh, yeah.
But what are some of the ones that are more comedic and also the straight parody ones? And I feel like what we could do, we can just kind of go willy-nilly down some lists.
Okay.
And we'll just kind of throw some out there. So
Okay.
not necessarily ranked. We'll just kind of chunk them out there.
Well, the very first one that comes to mind
Okay.
is Major League and Major League 2
Yep.
with Charlie Sheen.
Yep, I agree.
Because, bro, I grew up watching that movie
Both of them.
every weekend because I think it was TNT. They played it every weekend. So
I didn't think about that. So watching stuff on television, they definitely had their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
They had the norms, if you
Yeah.
would. That's true.
Norm.
No, my favorite part is towards the end of the first one when the guys in the audience when they're griping about the season and Randy Quaid, and he's like, cash it in, that's it, bring in the bulldozers, tear it down, we're gonna make it into a parking lot. That is my favorite part of the movie because the whole time it doesn't
Randy
matter
Quaid.
if they're losing or winning, they always got something to gripe about, and it's such a great parody of every
Sports fan?
every American sports fan.
Of course. Of course. So,
And I've been a Dallas Cowboys fan since the 90s.
I'm sorry.
And so we're going on 30 years now almost where we haven't won anything. And
Nope.
that's the way I feel. Bring in the bulldozers.
Make
Make a parking lot.
Can't make it too big of a parking lot because Walmart's going to put a store on top of it.
Basically, all we're doing is making Jerry Jones rich. That's all we're doing. It's a disaster.
Yep.
What great movies. Both of those are great movies.
Oh, yeah. What do you got?
Okay, so I had an old one also
Okay.
with an old actor that I doubt you've seen. But if you haven't seen it, it's worth it. It's called Slapshot. And it's got Paul Newman in it. And it is...
Does he go?
Gonna slap this hockey puck around.
Bro, that's Randy Newman. Different Newmans.
Either way, it's still a good story.
You're thinking of Toy Story, bro. This is all about hockey, my friend. It's a great movie and very funny.
You got a game in me.
And then from Slapshot, they made a kind of a parody film called Goon.
Yeah, that's got, what's his name? Sean William Scott? Mm-hmm. The guy from American Pie? Yeah.
Yep.
I never saw that one either.
What's the movie where he gets shot with the
Tranquilizer?
tranquilizer? Will Ferrell.
It's old school.
Old school.
Just took a trank dart to the neck, man. Am I going to be okay?
No.
That's freaking awesome.
That's really funny. All right, I'll let you go.
All right, I'm going to go to a football film.
Okay.
There was two of them that I just thought were just the pinnacle of comedic sports films, especially in the football genre.
Okay.
Unnecessary Roughness
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
and The Replacements.
Ooh, I didn't expect the replacements.
Yeah.
I thought you were going, oh, wow, that was impressive. Did you see that?
You shanked that one rough.
That was
$1,000 you can't do that again.
that was how the Americans performed in the Olympics.
How do you throw behind you
No, it's impressive.
when you're going forward?
I'm breaking the laws of physics over here, willy nilly. So that's great. I really thought you were going Longest Yard.
You know, that was a good movie,
I liked both of them.
but I mean, as something that was remade, the original and its successor were splendid movies.
Yep, it's true. Both of them were great, and both of them kind of in their own right.
Yeah,
they had
agreed.
different feels.
Yes.
and what was the
Bert.
Bad News Bears?
Oh yeah.
So that was kind of, I don't know if that was a spin-off from that one, but they're similar, or they feel similar. But man, I thought The Longest Yard was so much better.
Yeah.
The original with Burt, and then we had the newer one.
Sandler and Bert.
Yeah, he's still in it, but Chris Rock. It's just good. Both of those movies are fantastic.
Javier Bardem.
Who was that? Which one was that one?
Not Javier. It's the big guy. He's actually in Becky, which I'm going to make you watch this evening.
Okay.
So,
All right. Not to get off on that, but that is with Kevin James.
yes.
And he also had a film that I was going to bring up for this segment.
Oh, dude, I already know. If the sports one,
Yeah, it's the one where he's in the UFC. It's called Here Comes the Boom.
dude, that movie was garbage.
Look, I mean,
A dumpster fire.
it's not going to win any Academy Awards, but
it clearly didn't win any
it's a
Academy
good
Awards.
movie. It's a feel-good movie. All right. Cool Runnings. We've mentioned before.
Yeah, last week, I believe.
Fantastic. A couple weeks ago, but maybe last week.
I don't
Anyway,
remember. They're all running together now.
no pun intended.
So I got 3 that
wow.
all involve the same actor. Mm-hmm. And it's Will Ferrell. So I'm just going to hit you real quick. Blades of Glory.
Yep.
Semi-Pro.
Yep.
Talladega Nights.
Yep. All freaking solid.
and in America, I know we got some listeners that are across the pond and worldwide, but in America, NASCAR is a sport.
Yeah.
By God.
It's not just a sport, it's a lifestyle.
It's a
sucker.
lifestyle.
And I'll admit, I'm a redneck as they come. I don't like it.
I can't watch.
It's not my
like
thing.
golf. I can't watch golf. I can't watch NASCAR.
Man, I can watch golf all day. NASCAR for me, I just can't do it.
It always reminds me of that episode of South Park when Cartman gets into it and he's like, I'm going to make a left turn and I'm going to make a left turn and then I'm going to make another left turn and I'm going to make a left turn.
That's pretty good, man. All right. Do you got any more that you want to add? Because I've got a great ender.
Oh, well, that's difficult because I've got 2 epic ones.
Okay,
and one of them is probably going to be my ender.
Okay.
All right, so for my last good one, Dodgeball.
How in the world did I not think of dodgeball?
Dude, the cast alone.
No, that's where it's at. I mean,
The cast alone. Vince Vaughn
Yep.
is brilliant.
Yep.
And that was in the same era with all of the brilliant Will Ferrell movies and Old School. Dude, all of those were just slapstick brilliance.
But that particular movie, now I'm not sure where they fell as far as release, but that particular movie really kind of started me down those actors.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that was one of the first ones that I gravitated towards, and then the rest of them came after.
See, mine was Old School. Had
Yeah,
most
well,
of
that's
them.
true. That's true. Old School's good.
Yeah.
It's really good. Not a sports movie, obviously, but definitely started maybe that. And then I believe early on in the podcast we talked about Rudy,
Yeah.
and Vince Vaughn is actually listed as Vincent Vaughn.
Vincent Vaughn.
So early.
Yeah.
And the guy that did all the Star Wars stuff here recently.
not Mark Hamill.
No, the director guy. Well, he's in Rudy with Vince Vaughn.
John Favreau.
Yes, and he still shows up
John
in these later. It's
Favreau.
it's cool to me. Like you
Yeah,
made
yeah.
friends way back there in the '80s. You got your start in Hollywood, and you just stick with each other.
Yep.
I like that. That makes me happy.
Yes.
Makes me happy. Now,
What's your closer?
I feel like I get a bonus.
Okay,
because you
fine.
threw the 3 Will Ferrell Goofy
Okay,
movies.
fine.
Balls of Fury. Balls of Fury is a fantastic
Your
movie.
honorable mention.
It's so good. It's so funny.
Oh, I forget how funny that freaking movie is. Because that was, Home Skillet, who was the brother in the Goldbergs.
Correct. Yep. Yeah,
he was just
hilarious.
In the movie, he's just spot on.
Yeah, so
spot on.
there's this kid that I did ministry with in Albuquerque. His name is Emilio. And we
Emilio!
used to joke that Emilio was the mix between that guy and Jack Black. Like he was just a perfect mixture between those two people.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Same personality. It was really good. Okay, I'm going to close with a movie that I know you haven't seen and a lot of people haven't seen, but if you have Netflix, you need to go check it out like right now.
Okay.
It's fantastic. It's called I, Tonya, and it's this
Hang on. Let me take a stab at this.
There's not much stabbing.
Is it about Tanya Harding?
It is. There's no stabbing, but she beats the shit out of somebody's knees.
Is it about her story and beating the hell out of that chick?
Well, it culminates in that, but it's the story of her childhood and then also leading up to the event, of course. And it's delightful. The way it's shot is great.
Okay, I'll watch
The
this.
movie's good. It's funny. It's great. I think if you're a sports person, you like that sort of thing, or if you're a movie buff that hasn't seen it, you need to watch it because it's shot in a very creative way.
Fair enough.
Yeah, very, very good. All right, man, let's get out of cinemas.
No, sir.
Oh, you still got one?
I'm going to use my ender.
Oh, my bad.
We're going to end it with this one right here.
How are we going to top I, Tanya?
Pretty epically.
Okay.
This is an international competition movie. Probably one of the greatest beer fest.
Ooh.
I was thinking out of the limb.
Yeah. Okay, so
It's a competition.
it is. That's true. It's an event.
It's an event, a worldwide, because you don't have just everybody has enough money in their state they can have a team.
Right.
This is a world event.
Okay. I
And
like
Broken
it.
Lizard.
I like it.
I mean, those guys are brilliant too.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but we'll end it with that.
Okay. I like that.
Beer
Beer
Fest.
Fest definitely works. For sure.
Yes,
I'll do a little thank you blinders.
I reckon so. Thank you, blindness.
All right, so the questions we asked before, we banter about from time to time. We definitely know what we're going to talk about, and we kind of get a foot up on, if you will. Thank you, blinders. Is
Tanya Harding leg up.
there? You what happened over there?
Knocked my mug over.
Oh, you tearing stuff up?
No, Tanya Harding didn't. Kicked it.
All right. So thank you, blinders is just that. It's blind questions that each of us ask each other, and then we go from there. Now, I hear that Obeezy has a good one, so I'm going to go first, so we can close with the epic one. And if it's not epic, bro, I'm going to have to charge you extra.
Fair enough.
All right.
$5.
$5. All right, Mr. Beezy.
Okay.
You get a dog, and it's a magical dog,
Ooh.
but you can only train him to do one trick. What trick are you teaching your dog?
How extensive can this trick be?
I'm pretty sure he's magic, bro. Like he could within reason, but he's magic. He's a magic dog.
Because initially, like my gut instinct was like, bring me money. I mean, you would think.
Yeah, but where would he get it?
Yeah, he's magic. I don't give a shit.
What if he just pooped dollar bills?
Yeah. Hey, Fido, fetch me 20. I mean,
Okay, all right.
and most people are like, oh yeah, just bring a beer.
You're right.
Beezy's gonna go with beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if I have enough money, I can get my own beer.
Look, if your dog pooped $100 bills even once a day,
I'm gonna feed him an Alpo like crazy. $100 bill, $100 bill, $100 bill.
that's okay. All right, you can make a decent living with $100 a day. You're not wealthy,
Yeah,
but you can get by.
for sure.
Definitely some beer money, spending monies.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably get you one of my dilapidated boats.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I'll take one of them.
I don't know. Okay, all right. So that's your final
So
answer.
I would have a regular job. I'd keep my job,
Right.
and then that's just bonus beer money from Boozer.
From Boozer. That's a good name. I like that. Okay, now sub question.
Okay.
Do you think it would change depending on the type of dog? Like if you
Well,
had
here's the deal. If the Bucks match the droppings,
right? Yes.
then I'm getting a Great Dane.
Just the biggest
Just
dog.
the biggest bitch I can find. $1,000 at a time? Hell yeah, Boozer.
Wouldn't it be funny if you got stuck with a little Morky?
Oh, no.
they're pooping out like 50-cent pieces.
I'm going to save the money. I'm going to save the money and just shoot the dog.
What if they pooped out peace dollars and you can just carry peace dollars?
I mean, poop dollars.
Man, I don't care how many episodes we have. Eventually, we come back to poop.
What is it? They got the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, and we got the 6 degrees of pooping.
Yeah, podcast poop jokes.
Yes,
That's good stuff.
I don't see why anybody's got a problem with it.
Okay, all right. I
Everybody
like
poops.
it. Yeah. Mine was going to be medical emergencies. Like his trick.
Like he could
Cure.
cast the heal spell?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty solid.
I like it. You know, as public service, you could just kind of take him around the hospital and
I
Fido
don't know
just
that I want to do that.
ta.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Well, why not? Doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, you don't know how many spells he's able to
Well,
cast.
that's a good point. What if he's capped? What if you help like 10,000 people and then it finally comes time where you have a heart attack in your house and he's like, I'm out, man. I'm sorry. You used it all up,
I had
bro.
to help all the people at the children's hospital. I'm sorry.
Don't you see the life bar I have above my head?
My mana bar is going down every time you do this. You should have read the owner's manual.
That's a fair point. Fair point. All right. Question number 2.
All right. So this might possibly be the roughest question we've had for Thinky Blind, or just the podcast in general, just
Really?
because of the topic.
Wow.
But I have a feeling you can put a solid answer on this.
Okay. Well, I am intrigued.
Okay. And I've had this question in my logs for, since like June,
Okay.
just because I hadn't wanted to do it.
Okay. All
But
right.
here we go. Here comes the question. Why do women get abortions with men's babies who they chose to have sex with?
Wow. Okay. Definitely brought the damper.
I'll
for
see
sure.
myself out.
Okay. Whew. Okay. Let me start with one thing right off the bat. There immediately becomes the issue of, if you're not a female, should you have an opinion? That immediately becomes kind of the topic at hand, because you hear that a bunch.
Sure.
Like if you're not capable of carrying a child and or
You don't
aborting
get
a
to
child,
decide.
you don't get to decide.
I don't feel like that's fair personally.
Well, I don't either, and here's why. I get what you're saying when you make that argument. However, 2 points. The first one is it's another person. That DNA is separate. So we're dealing with a human, in my opinion. And so if we're dealing with a human and your ability to kill it, well, then that is a societal issue, and society gets a vote. Society gets an opinion. You don't just get to squash the opinions of other people because you don't want them to have an opinion. That's not the way that works. And then also, abortion is a publicly debated topic. And so if it's in the public realm, that means political realm,
Sure.
then you have a right to have an opinion on it.
Okay.
So that's where I'm going to start. We have a right to have an opinion. Now, it doesn't mean you have to listen to our opinion or agree with it, but that's where we are. Okay. Why do they do it? 2 reasons. The first one is because it's available. I think it's readily accessible.
Okay.
It's accepted and praised in some circles. That whole shout my abortion thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's accessible and it's
In certain circles.
Yep, and it's accepted. And also, I'm not going to say it's easy because I definitely don't know the process of doing it as a person, but it seems like it's a fairly simple procedure. So it's quick. I don't think they're thinking about having a child with the person that they're sleeping with.
All right.
I think they're acting, in my opinion, irresponsible, and that's an easy fix
Just
for the
one
problem.
night of carnal pleasure.
Yep. And okay, I'm going to separate myself a little bit from some of my Christian friends, probably,
Okay.
because a lot of people will say, "Well, it's a thing since from conception, right? Soon as the egg meets the sperm, like it's a thing, right?"
Right.
I'm not necessarily going to go that far. 9 weeks, 8 weeks, 6 weeks, 4 weeks. When does it start becoming a thing that is a person? I think that's an accurate argument to have, because at 4 weeks, when it's that big and it just looks like a clump of cells, that doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt my sensibility. However, at 8 months or 6 months, when you have a viable fetus that can live outside of the womb, okay, now there's no denying that that's a person,
Well, that's for sure.
but they do. So anyway, so to answer the question, I think really it's because it's easy. It's something that gets you out of a bad situation that you put yourself in.
Yeah.
But it's easy, it's accessible, and it's also accepted. And I think that's why. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I think that's why they do it.
Nice. Very diplomatic answer. And I'm really glad you handled it as diplomatically as you did. I just this is one that I've got a couple in my bag.
Yep.
That I have held off on, and some of them I'm probably still going to hold off on just because of the nature of the question.
Right.
But people that have listened this far, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're coming to this for entertainment and
right
to check stuff out,
right?
See things from a different perspective, because that's what we talked about early on. It's what the Pastor and the Heathen segment's about too. Is
right.
Differing perspectives, coming out and still drinking a beer afterwards.
Correct. And you know, I'm not. You know me, and I think 60 episodes in, most of y'all know me. At least 61 episodes in. I'm not accusing anybody or throwing blame or judgment either. Just because my opinion might differ from you doesn't mean that we can't have a little bit of empathy for each other, and to be in a situation where you're faced with an unwanted pregnancy. I can definitely empathize with that particular circumstance. So I get it. And you know, we're not even talking about rape or incest or any of that stuff. I mean, we're just talking about somebody who
consensual. Yeah.
And whether it was a mistake or not, well, now you've got this thing that you're dealing with. And if you're just starting your career or you're a teenager or whatever it is, I get it. I get all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, I still think there's a human being involved. And if you're taking a life, well, the excuses to me don't matter that much. We have to deal with that particular issue, that is the human life.
Sure.
And so the debate about all this other auxiliary stuff is really secondary to me. I think the debate needs to be, when does that human life become a separate human being for you? If you're a hardened advocate of abortion up to birth, I think you've got to reckon with where does that thing become a separate human being? At some point, you're killing a human.
Sure.
So you've got to figure out where that line is. And like I said, we can debate that. But at the end of the day, I can't accept it on its face value, especially later in the pregnancy.
Yeah.
When it's a viable human, I can't go with you regardless of the reason. Even rape and incest. Yeah, it sucks. That's a terrible situation, and it sucks that you're going through with that. But that doesn't mean you get to kill a human. And so we've dehumanized the child in the womb. And that allows us to do that. And by the way, some places up to birth. So I don't know, man. It gets real weird. So I'm not a staunch, hardened right-wing lunatic about it, but I'm also not willy-nilly open and you just do you, boo-boo. I'm not on that side either.
Do you, boo-boo? You?
But I will say, it's a great conversation to have with people who will sit down and have a conversation with you.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a good conversation to have with the far extremes.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's the other thing, too, is what this podcast is about is talking about things that might occasionally make you uncomfortable.
Sure. Yeah, and
because this is one of the hottest topics out there.
It really is. That's a good point. And one of the most divided topics.
Yeah, most certainly. And it's taken 61 episodes for us to hit the zinger.
Yeah, and we probably won't bring this up next week.
Most likely
we'll stay away from it for a while.
It won't be coming back up again.
Yeah. I don't know. I like discussing these things, and I hope that you guys don't mind us discussing these things. And at the same time, I don't want to make enemies.
I agree.
Who hardly disagree. But if you listen to us, hopefully you don't have that mindset.
I mean, if you've gotten this far into our podcast, you got to be pretty open-minded at least.
And if you're not, well, you maybe find another podcast.
Yeah, Tom Tom.
I haven't heard Tom Tom's in a while.
I know, right?
Yeah, just far back up. All right, my friend. Well, are you ready to do a little Pastor and the Heathen? Get out of here?
I reckon so.
Did you have any thoughts that you wanted to add to that particular conversation?
Man, I've always been a firm believer that it takes two to tango.
Okay.
Now, in my younger days, I was promiscuous.
Okay.
And I had a couple one night stands. I was like, oh God, I hope that doesn't turn out.
You praying on the way home?
It's like, man, oh man, I hope this works in my favor.
Okay, fair.
I became religious.
It's funny how that works. No atheist in the sex foxholes.
Sex foxholes. Oh, but I always sit back and think, and I'm like, but I mean, I'd have to do the right thing. I'm not
Right.
I'm not a schlub.
Right.
I'm still gonna take it. I'll be a daddy if I have to. This is definitely not ideal.
Right.
But when we had our planned child, it wasn't ideal.
That's fair.
Nobody's ever ready to have a child, even when you're ready to have a child. So
I hate to keep harping on things, but this is it's just another thing in our society. I feel like that we're running away from any kind of assumed responsibility. And I'm sorry, if you have a child, whether you're the sperm donor or you're the egg carrier, regardless of the side, you have a responsibility to do something with that child in the future. Now, I'm not saying you have to be the live-in dad. I'm not saying that if you get pregnant, you have to get married. That's not what I'm saying. But you do have some responsibilities there.
oh yeah,
And as a society, I think some of us need to man up a little bit. And I know even that's a bad word to some. But,
Well,
bro,
yeah.
I mean, come on now. Sack up, Nancy. Let's get this stuff done.
What was it? The book Panda told me about? Oh God, it's been a while, but it's a book. I can't even tell you the author. Just the title of the name is brilliant because it's The Pussification of America.
Yep.
And it really is. I mean, everybody's so PC nowadays, and you don't want to offend, and you can't say pronouns or whatever the crap it's called nowadays.
I'm with you.
And I mean,
And again,
Yeah.
at the underlying issue, there are true issues to be dealt with.
Agreed.
True things to talk about, to
Agreed.
discuss. But we've gone so far the other way.
You layer so much stupid crap on top of it that it kind of gets lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. We've gone so far that we're allowing men to compete in women's sports. And
Everybody's
dominate.
getting offended.
Yeah. Anyway, before we get completely and
this
totally
is getting
canceled,
off the rails.
let's do some Pastor and the Heathen. We'll
All
get
right,
out of here.
then.
The Pastor and the Heathen.
Well done, sir.
Nailed
The
it.
maestro. Tell you what, the next time y'all have rehearsal, if you could tell them to address the tuning issue on that last note, I'd appreciate
We're not gonna.
it.
I'm gonna have them off tune the entire time just because I know it
Oh,
frustrates
nice.
you.
I appreciate that. I'm maybe sitting over there grabbing my ear. Just now, I know that most of y'all know, but if you don't, Pastor and the Heathen is just that. You got a pastor and a heathen sitting across the table from each other talking about whatever it is that we bring up. We've talked about a variety of issues in the past, from conspiracy theories to is God real, all kinds of good stuff. And so I believe Beezy's got our question loaded up.
I do.
For today. We'll tackle this. And
Cock, lock, and ready to rock.
Okay. Well, interesting way to put that.
So
Have at it, sir.
it's one of my favorite lines from the movie Rock.
The Rock.
The Rock with
yeah.
Sean Connery
Such a
and
great
Nick.
film. Yep. Good movie.
It's the bad guy. He's like, "Are we gonna do this, sir? Cock, locked, and ready to rock." I don't know why that
That's
line right
interesting.
there just has always just ingrained itself into my brain.
Okay. All
Cock,
right.
locked, and ready to rock.
I like it.
Anyways, all right. So, Pastor and the Heathen today. How do biblical texts apply to modern society, or do they at all?
Oh, interesting. You want to wade in on that particular issue before we kind of dive into the
Meat and taters?
or my outlook. I'm not saying my outlook's right, but I kind of have a feeling where you're coming from.
Look, I've said from the beginning when we started this venture, and specifically this segment. I feel like the Bible is full of brilliant parables.
Okay. Okay. Well, you keep using parables.
I use
Rob.
parables. Well, what I mean, that's,
I know what you mean. Yes.
That's how it is in my head. It always comes out as parables. But there are life lessons to be learned.
Okay.
And I've touched on it a long time ago, but one family friend of ours had an agnostic teacher in college, and one of their lessons was to read the Bible.
Interesting.
And that was not part of curriculum. This was his assignment. He's like, "You read the Bible."
Okay.
And they're like, "Well, you really don't even believe in this, do you?" He goes, "I don't. But this is probably the greatest text ever.
Ah.
And there's like 0 grammatical errors."
Well, it's also been translated by, hundreds, if not thousands of folks.
I mean,
so
it is what it is.
Right.
But, I mean, hell, you can even take a Stephen King album or album.
Album. That'd be a terrible album. Have you heard him speak?
Yeah. Not a very good spokesperson.
Not so much.
But I think the biblical text applies today in certain aspects.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
So I guess technically the last part of the question, do they at all? Yes.
Okay.
Some of them just way outdated.
Oh, I got you.
And those parables should just be
Gotten rid of?
gotten rid of. Just don't. We're not going to talk about that. I mean,
Sounds like
those
you're
guys
just
is
gonna
crazy.
cut up your scripture to suit your
Hey,
purposes.
just burn that part of the book.
That is pretty good. So I asked a question of some of my leaders this past week, and we were sitting around having a conversation, kind of sort of about something like this, but we were specifically talking about women pastors, women leaders in the church. So you have
Don't like it.
well,
It is how I feel about.
that's just a personal thing, right?
That's how I feel about women commentators in sports too. I mean, this
You
is going to be
include-
sexist as hell, but I'm sorry, and it's just my growing ups.
All right. Well, I'm not going to wade into that particular issue.
Hey, on your part of things, I went past that. I don't really care.
The-
I just wanted to throw a monkey wrench in there.
Well, where you see women shouldn't be pastors is found in the epistles later in the New Testament, and it's not written by Christ, or it's not his words, it's Paul's words. So the question is, should Paul's words be revealed? Should we hold his words on the same standard that we do Christ, the words of Christ? So if Christ says something, we take it as gospel truth. That's where we get the term gospel truth.
Sure.
If Paul says something, now Paul's dealing with individual churches during individual times with individual problems. Should we take his words and give them the same power that the words of Christ have? And it's a really interesting.
Saying he gets the same credence as Christ's word.
Well, yeah, it's because Jesus never says anything about women being in ministry or not being in ministry. So Paul comes along and says, well, they can't. And so now all the churches for 2,000 years are like, well, Paul
here's the
said.
deal. I kicked it with Jesus.
Well, see, Paul
And he
didn't.
done told me.
Paul didn't kick it with Jesus.
Oh.
That's another interesting thing.
That was the other Paul?
No, there wasn't another Paul.
I should brush up on my Bible readings.
You probably should.
But I'm trying to remember Paul. He was just, God talked to me.
He did. Remember the road to Damascus.
I'm pretty close with this guy.
Right?
He wanted me to tell you.
Correct.
He wanted me to tell you that's incorrect.
That is right.
Women's ain't allowed to be teaching.
And not only does he, but he kind of doesn't even do that. Again, he's writing a letter to an individual church. It's not like he's making these grand statements in his treatise, that he's going to release as his book, right? He's writing a letter to a church that's dealing with a problem. And he's saying, well, here's how you deal with this problem.
And I tell you where his problem lies was he should have released an album like
Like Stephen King?
like Stephen King.
That's pretty funny. I don't know. Okay, so I gave them the question, and even in Southern Baptist conservative Texas, there was a split room. There was still a split room. I would have assumed, like that I was taught growing up, that it's all the same. It's all inspired. God gave them that word, so we treat it the same. But even in my leadership, there's a split room. And so here's the way I view it.
Can I ask you real fast?
Yes.
What is the age group? Are you the youngest?
Not quite, but close.
Okay, so that does make so good grief.
Yeah, but some of the older women were the ones who were taking the other side.
Hell no, I know Becky. She's gonna get up there and she's gonna talk shit.
No, I found it interesting. So the way I deal with it is I take the words of Paul, the teachings of Paul, and then I try to run it back through the filter of Christ, if you will. So I'll make sure that there's some sort of continuity between the two.
Okay.
Where there's no connection, when Paul's saying that men need to cut their beards a certain way, there's no correlation.
Thou shalt not shave your squiggly digglies. We done preached it on the podcast.
but there's no relationship with that to the words of Christ.
Right.
So I view that as, well, that's a specific time for a specific reason. Here's the issue I have on that particular thing. A lot of times we get hung up on some of Paul's stuff, like women shouldn't be pastors, but then we forget some of the stuff that he told us about other things. And so we kind of...
the whole Bible conundrum.
Correct. You can't pick and choose. And so if you're going to pick and choose, well, what gives you the right to pick that one versus the other one? Okay, so
Fair.
That's that. Now, how do they apply? I believe they apply to modern society with good expository explanations. Expository explanations.
That's a tongue twister.
You take a parable of Christ.
Yes.
They are parables whenever Christ talks about them. Those are stories.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
And you need...
Well, if you're reading the Bible, technically it's a story that you're reading, yeah?
Well,
Would it be
yes.
a parable?
No. Jesus tells story within the story.
Yeah.
He's telling his disciples a story.
So he Tarantino's his own Bible.
He does. Yeah. he does it backwards to front. It's all crazy. But whenever you read that story, you need to step back and you need to think about how that applies to your life. And people who apply stuff literally, you get into really weird stuff real fast. Like, you know, the monks that we talked about a few episodes ago where they would beat themselves.
Flail.
Yeah. That's a literal interpretation of stuff. That's not what he's talking about. When he says you need to pluck your eye out if it causes you to sin, well, you don't need to literally pluck your eye out.
I can tell you right now, I'm about to pluck my eye out because it hurts.
Well, yeah, you're going through some eye stuff.
Freaking eye is killing me right now.
If anybody is still listening right now, I'm sorry. We've gone through like all kinds of rabbit holes, and then out of nowhere, Beezy's like, "Yeah, my eye hurts."
My eye hurts. Damn no eye.
But you need to have a good pastor, somebody who will study Scripture, and then give it to you in a way that's not manipulative, that's not causing you to do things that the Scripture doesn't tell you to do. And you gotta be really careful about that, because I've seen some terrible manipulation, and it's, man, it really hurts my feelings when I see that.
Yeah.
Because you can make the Bible say anything you want it to say.
Oh, yeah.
And so you have to be careful. So yes, I believe they totally apply to modern society, but we have to be able to view them in a way that makes sense for us during our time.
Gotcha.
Doesn't mean you get to go change the Scripture. Doesn't mean you get to change what it says, but we can apply it in areas where maybe it wasn't necessarily meant to apply in the very beginning.
Gotcha.
What do you think?
Beauty.
All right.
I'll take it.
Lots of words there.
Yes. You lost me. Had to extrapolate existential nonsense or whatever you said.
Hey, you just think about it. Maybe it'll come to you on the way
Two
home.
big E words. I didn't like it.
All right, man. Well, let's get out of here. Let's do a little updates.
All right. I got some news updates for you today.
Well, if you are still listening and you were trying to watch this on video, it died. It died.
And we don't know when.
We don't know. I don't know exactly what happened. I know that my phone vibrated and it was like, your connection's been lost. And I was like, well, what happened?
Oh, no.
It looks to me like the battery died, but now I don't know. I don't know. Anyway,
Stupid technology.
here's the deal. We're fumbling our way towards better things.
Yes.
So
Yes, we are.
We're gonna get there. It's just it's a rocky road to perfection. So
Rocky Road to Dublin.
bear,
1, 2, 3, 4,
bear-
5.
I'll tell you what, man. It's a rocky road to perfection. That's a pretty good saying.
Yeah, it is. Rocky Road to Perfection.
I might need the merch logo to come up with a hat or something with that. That's
At
pretty
least
good.
a hat.
Yep. Not bad. Speaking of, I think we have hats coming soon.
We got some
Now, we're
in the works.
Yeah, we're experimenting.
Doing some
They
experimentations.
do look pretty legit.
Yes, they do.
All right, couple of updates. First one is thank you to Eccentric Brewery for your sponsorship. Sorry about fumbling over your name there. I tried to put in extra R's and W's, and it doesn't work. There's too many consonants in there.
I want you to try that one again because that was awesome.
Thank you to Eccentric Brewery. We appreciate your sponsorship. If you're in Midland, go down there and check those guys out. Tell them that we sent you. They might even get you a free beer. I'm not putting words in their mouth, but you never know.
It's just put it on FWTG tab. We'll pay it when we get down there in a couple weeks.
And if you live in the area or you want to make a trip, remember Friday the 11th, March 11th, we'll be there at Eccentric Brewery, and we'll share some beers with you.
Most definitely.
Come down there and check it out. And stay tuned the rest of the year for new sponsors. We got some cool stuff coming. Reminder, if you're on Patreon or you would like to join Patreon, you can go over there. Episode 9 dropped yesterday of the Hidden Revival.
did.
So it's exciting. And, man, 9 months that we've been doing this already.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. It feels like it was just a couple of weeks ago that we started all that.
I know.
So if you join today, that means you get 9 full episodes to listen to. And that should take you all the way through the weekend. That's a good $5 well spent.
For show.
Where's another place where you can spend $5 and you can get hours of mediocre entertainment?
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
Unless you're gonna people watch at the Starbucks.
Yeah, and even then, you're
And
probably gonna
sit there
spend
for a while.
more than $5, and you got to go to a Starbucks.
That's fair. That's fair.
By the way, I was gonna mention Netflix, but did you know my Netflix account last month was $20?
Yeah. Oh, don't even get me started on that one. Mine's getting even higher up there because
Yeah.
I got the 4K package.
Oh, nice. Anyway, all right, so lots of things to do, lots of things to keep up with. When we get to 20 Patreon subscribers, we will be naming a charity, and we'll be giving to different charities once a month, every month, and we thank you guys, and so we want to give some of that back. That's the whole point and purpose. Last but not least, I would like to say thank you to our OGs and newbies. So I'll tell you what, the original listeners that have been around from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know, we got 12, 14 that are just really solid from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't have done this without you. And also, we're getting dwarfed with new listeners.
We are.
And I don't know why or how, but I'll take it.
Somebody's doing something right.
So whether you just came on board like today, like this episode, or you've been around for over a year from the very beginning, thank you so much for keeping up with us and allowing us to do this. We're having a blast, and we want it to just grow into something different.
To continue.
Speaking of continue, if you happen to see our wives, you might tell them to vote yes on Pinewood and Beezy for 2023.
Yes.
It's going to come down to one vote about Christmas time at the end of the year, and we'll decide, well, they'll decide whether or not this is something we can continue to do. So thank you to our wives for allowing us to do this. I know it's a lot of effort, time, money, and just thank you so much for allowing us to kind of pursue this. Let's do some ponder.
Cool.
All right.
Ponder this.
When cannibalism starts, vegans are the closest thing there is to a free-range, antibiotic-free, grass-fed meat source.
That's a pretty good point.
Well, on that note, we will end episode 61 of Fraternize with these guys. I am Beasley the Heathen.
I am Pastor Pinewood.
Stay plentiful, friends, and for the sake of humanity, save a bovine, eat a vegan. All right.
You had a weird look in your eye, like right there at the end, like something took over you.
So I think I had the spirit of old Big and Rich just jump into my body.
I know exactly where you're going.
Save a bovine, eat a vegan. Everybody said, save a bovine, eat a vegan.
That's
What?
dude. If we ever do a live show,
That's coming up.
We're gonna have to do that whole song.
That's coming up, bro. I'll rewrite the lyrics.
Save a bovine.
Eat a vegan.